Hi, my name is Anthony Jackson. I'm a retired field artillery officer from the U.S. Army. This is my beautiful wife, Alex, and we have 4 wonderful children. While on active duty in the United States Army, I served both as a combat engineer while enlisted and then switched over after commissioning to field artillery. And during each of those times, I sustained various injuries. The probably largest group and most significant were traumatic brain injuries. And I sustained one while driving a Humvee and hitting an IED. And I just remember waking up with the vehicle on its side. Another one while I was driving at night wearing night vision goggles, and the vehicle in front of me struck a landmine. In addition to the TBI, my night vision goggles did not shut off as they should. They malfunctioned, and I was flash blinded and in the hospital for about 2 weeks for that injury. Other TBIs that I've sustained, one in Kosovo while we were closing roads and there was a premature detonation there. Another premature detonation, this time in Afghanistan while working with a mining operation. And a fifth in-country traumatic brain injury while I was gunning a 50 cal in the back of a Toyota pickup and a rocket struck in front of me. I was blown out to the side and dislocated my right shoulder as well as being knocked unconscious, sustaining a traumatic brain injury. Other injuries that I've sustained on active duty, I had 2 notable parachuting incidences, one where I dislocated my left shoulder and one where I was forced to a tree landing and fractured my left ankle. Additionally, I was struck in the chest plate with 3 AK rounds in one incident. I also sustained fractures to my C-spine, levels 3 through 7, in a combatives incident where I took an unguarded left hook. So following the discovery of the fractures in my neck and the culmination of 6 TBIs, the medical process was months and months of medical investigation, testing, and with that came far too many pharmaceuticals, in my opinion. And after months of realizing that the neurological issues were not going away, I chose to accept a medical retirement and started that process. While I was hopeful, it really wasn't going very well. I tried to jump into a few jobs after retirement and wasn't able to hold those because of the neurological issues. I had vertigo episodes and had to step aside. I had a lot of PTSD outbursts and was really trying to figure out what that was before it was diagnosed and realized.
We started to notice that he was having more issues with controlling his emotions. He would snap at the kids more. We were both really just trying to figure out what it meant long term. We weren't sure if he'd be able to bounce back and just pick up another job. So I started doing research, and eventually we ended up finding hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which was a good thing. It just wasn't enough. We also we got into counseling. We tried, talk therapy, and I think he did EMDR and things like that, which each had their own purpose and place, but it wasn't reaching the root cause. We went out to the Mayo Clinic. They did all sorts of testing there, ended up resolving a heart issue that popped up in the middle of all that. We also found the Share Military Initiative at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, and he spent, 3 or 4 months there?
Yeah, about 4 months.
Yes, and it was a really good thing while he was there, but when he came back home and he was out of the controlled environment, it really quickly wore off.
Yeah.
It was around that time frame when all these other things that seemed like good things, but they weren't sticking. We learned about ketamine therapy, and we got connected with NeuroRelief.
So we're at the Jet Center, ready to head out to California. Still keeping myself very open to the world of possibilities and improvement. See you guys out there.
They started getting to know us and getting to know him, and they really, you could tell that they cared and they wanted to not just treat him, but learn all about everything that was encompassed and make sure that it was the best fit all around.
It was a very individualized and tailored process.
Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you both here. Thank you for making the trip. We're delighted to have you, and I wanted to take the opportunity to go over the program that we have scheduled for the week.
When I first sat down and spoke with Dr. Harris, it was such a relief to find genuine connection and care, even from the beginning over the phone and then sitting down in person. Everything was custom tailored, and Dr. Harris really got to know what I had been through, what I was experiencing currently, and developed a treatment plan to really tackle those issues. It wasn't a one-size-fits-all like so many places that we've heard about and tried.
Simultaneous with the ketamine, you'll be receiving 1,000 milligrams of NAD+. And what that is a cofactor that is involved in the production of energy at the cellular level. And that's specifically cells such as brain cells and muscle cells, nerve cells, that have a high energy requirement, replacing that cofactor, which seems to be lost as a result of the oxidative metabolism, increased demands based on some of the stuff that you are going through currently. And last but not least, we're going to be customizing this series of platelet-rich plasma injections specifically that target both shoulders, the cervical region of the neck, the SI joints, lower back, mid back, and the trapezius muscles that I think have taken an undue burden and weight as a result of the shoulder injuries.
When we first contacted NeuroRelief, I remember that we heard that in general, a lot of people come for ketamine based on either pain or, mental emotional issues. And Anthony was dealing with both. And the fact that Dr. Harris not only wanted to know about those things, but then wanted to know about everything else because, there's a lot going on and he wanted to have as much information as possible. We really, right away, we were hopeful and we were really excited to see what would end up happening.
Day one for me here at NeuroRelief, getting ready for my first infusion, and I'm excited, I'm pumped, I'm hopeful, and can't wait to experience it. While working here with NeuroRelief, I started the process working with my own coach to do CBT, mindfulness, and such, and Trevor was just such a delight to work with and very informative and helpful through the process and ongoing. And I have received not only the ketamine infusions, but NAD+ and micro-rich nutrient infusions. The experience for my first injection was out of this world. Also got the platelet-rich, the PRP, the injections in my shoulders. I've got bilateral shoulder impingement syndrome and other issues there, and that was oddly refreshing and just really neat to experience.
Not only was the nurses and Dr. Harris checking on Anthony regularly throughout his entire treatment, they would come in and they would adjust as needed. If he was having a tough time, they would either, I think I heard them say that they would bolus at times, but they would adjust the medications and the balance of the ketamine and the NAD+ that were both running. They were checking on him. They would talk to him as needed and guide him through that process. And it was just the whole time we could tell that they were monitoring and they were on top of the situation.
All right, I'm back for day two. I'm super excited, well rested. Yesterday I was pretty tired, but after some great sleep, PRP for my shoulders, I slept like a baby.
After learning about ketamine, we actually contacted several clinics, and a lot of them just seemed like they were focused on just the ketamine. There wasn't a lot of integration. There weren't other services offered. And Anthony actually tried one of the other clinics as well. And The results at NeuroRelief compared to the other clinic was night and day. At the other clinic, we think it may have even just mostly been a placebo effect. It's not just about the ketamine. At NeuroRelief, all the different services combined, it was like a reset. It gave him, I mean, he even said it gave him his life back. So coming to NeuroRelief was definitely far and away worth the extra effort for us to travel across the country.
Today is day 3, my 3rd infusion, and I'm looking forward to more of the whole process. It's a little different each day for me so far, but it's all great stuff. And the NAD plus and the PRP afterwards, the holistic approach has just been phenomenal. So before I came to NeuroRelief, I suffered on a daily basis from all the various traumatic brain injuries. I had severe struggles with memory loss, with my attention. I had a lot of neurological issues, migraines, vertigo episodes. I had trouble simply remembering what I was in the middle of doing, forming full thoughts and sentences. And that was my everyday from all the neurological issues. And then emotionally, I had a number of issues with depression, anxiety, PTSD that were often completely overwhelming. After working with NeuroRelief and receiving ketamine IV infusion, NAD+, platelet-rich plasma, micronutrients, all those working together, I started seeing a daily improvement on cognitive function, the ability to think thoroughly through a project that I was doing, complete my sentences, which seems so small, but it's a huge game changer. Be able to just be more present with my family, just participate more in life with them, even going to the grocery store, playing sports and playing at the park with them. It has been life-changing.
Thank you so much for trusting us. I really hope this helps.
He went from being someone that the kids and I had to be always aware of and careful around to we actually got to live life with him again.
Wonderful. It's a pleasure, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you again. And you guys have a wonderful trip back, okay? Thanks. Take care.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to Dr. Harris and how compassionate and real he's been working with me all the way through this process, as well as my integration coach, Trevor. It's been incredible working with him during the process, and he's given me a lot of stuff, continuing to work with me as I go back home so that I can integrate some real world problem-solving things into my family day-to-day life.